Whenever the topic of AI ethics comes up, it's so easy to get lost in these wild, futuristic scenarios. But the thing is, these dilemmas, they're already here. They're shaping everything from what you see on your social media to whether you get a job interview. So let's just dive right in, because the question isn't if we're going to face these challenges, it's how we're going to answer them.
And let's start with a question that really cuts right to the heart of it all. Imagine an AI makes a masterpiece, but it also pumps out dangerous misinformation. So who's on the hook? The person who typed in the prompt? The company that poured millions into building the AI? Or the AI itself? That's the messy knot we're trying to untangle today.
And believe me, this isn't just a late night dorm room debate anymore. A recent review of the research shows this field is just exploding. I mean, look at these numbers. In all of 2023, there were only 5 peer-reviewed articles on this. In 2024, that number jumped to 58. And we're just in early 2025, and there are already 48. The entire tech and academic world is basically in a dead sprint to figure this stuff out. Okay, so to get a handle on this whole mess, researchers have started to map out the ethical minefield. And it pretty much boils down to 5 big challenges that keep popping up, no matter what AI we're talking about. Let's walk through them. First up is a big one, bias and discrimination. Generative AI learns from, well, us. It reads and looks at a gigantic library of human-made stuff. And here's the catch. That library is full of our own messy human biases. So the AI models don't just learn them, they can actually crank up the volume on those harmful stereotypes. Just picture an AI tool for hiring that learns to prefer men for a job only because it was trained on decades of biased company data. That's the kind of risk we're talking about.
Next up is the one you've definitely seen in the headlines: misinformation and deepfakes. It's kind of scary how good AI has gotten at creating realistic-looking text, images, even videos from just a few words. The real danger here is that this fake media can be used as a weapon for political propaganda, for complex scams, and it's making it harder and harder to know what's real anymore.
Then there's the massive threat to our privacy. See, because these models train on just unfathomable amounts of data scraped from the web, they can sometimes, almost accidentally, memorize and spit back out really sensitive personal information. And I'm not talking about small stuff. We're talking private phone numbers, email addresses, even confidential medical records, all just potentially out there. Fourth on our list is the absolute tangled mess of intellectual property, right? If an AI creates a beautiful song or a mind-blowing image, who owns the rights? The AI, the user who wrote the prompt? And what if the AI learned how to make it by studying millions of copyrighted images without permission? Our entire legal system just wasn't built for this, and it is scrambling to catch up. And all of this leads us to the fifth, and you could argue the most crucial challenge: accountability. See, a lot of these advanced AIs are what we call black boxes. We can see the data that goes in and we can see the result that comes out. But the process in the middle is so insanely complicated that even the people who built it don't totally get it. So if we can't figure out how the AI got it wrong, how on earth can we hold anyone responsible? That whole accountability problem, that's the real linchpin here. So let's make it super concrete with a case study that's happening right now. Academics are actually trying to list ChatGPT as a co-author on scientific papers. But the real question is, can a language model even meet the criteria for authorship? Can it actually be held accountable for what it writes? To figure that out, we have to look at the official rules. There's this thing called the Vancouver Recommendation, and it lays out 4 conditions you have to meet to be called an author. Sure, an AI can probably help with the first 2, contributing ideas, drafting text. But what about the last 2? Giving the final okay? And this is the big one, agreeing to be accountable for every single part of the work. And that's exactly where it all falls apart. A human author can be held responsible, right? You can praise them for a brilliant discovery, or you can blame them for academic fraud. But ChatGPT? It doesn't have a conscience. It doesn't have beliefs or intentions. It's just an incredibly sophisticated pile of algorithms. It's not a person. So can it really be accountable? I think we all know the answer is no. If you really want to get it, listen to this perfect summary from Dr. Jeanette Wing at Columbia University. She puts it so simply. They only do one thing. They predict the next word. And they don't know anything. These large language models don't know any facts. That's it. They are phenomenal pattern matchers, not thinking, knowing beings. Okay, so we've laid out all these challenges. And honestly, it can feel a little overwhelming. But the good news is, all this research isn't just pointing out problems.
It's also lighting up a path forward, a way to shift from seeing problems to seizing opportunities.
So the experts are highlighting 4 key pathways to get there. First, we need to build fairness and ethics right into the design of AI from day one. Second, we need flexible rules and regular audits because this tech is changing by the minute. Third, we've got to get the techies, the ethicists, and the lawyers all in the same room talking to each other. And fourth, we have to make ethics a mandatory core part of how we teach the next generation of AI developers. So what does this mean for us, the people actually using these tools every day? Well, Dr. Mary Gray from Microsoft Research has this perfect analogy. She says we should treat generative AI just like we treat Wikipedia. It's an amazing place to start, a really powerful tool, but it's a living system and it absolutely demands our skepticism. We have to constantly be verifying, thinking critically, and at the end of the day, it needs human oversight. And this all brings us to the final and I think the most important takeaway from all of this. It's so easy to look at AI as this unstoppable wave that's just happening to us. But that's just not the right way to see it. The human element is and will always be in the loop. And this is really the whole point. AI isn't some alien force acting on our world. It's a system being built by our world. It is a direct reflection of the mountains of data we've created, the goals of the people who design it, and the values we choose or fail to choose to write into its code. The responsibility ultimately comes right back to us. When it's all said and done, AI is a mirror. It reflects our creativity, our knowledge, our biases, and all our flaws right back at us, just on a global scale. And that leaves us with one last massive question. The conversation can't just be about what this technology can do anymore. The real question we all have to answer now is, what do we want it to become? What do we want to see when we look into that mirror?